good morning. It's Dave Lockwood. This is Shrimp Festival Day. I believe it's the 67th year of the Shrimp Festival. We did miss a couple years because of the Hurricane Ian. I'd like you to look behind me here. You see that? Isn't that beautiful? So we're out here at sunrise, and I'm at the very top of the Matanzas Pass Bridge. And what we're doing is we're just checking this out. So they are working on the bridge here. They're changing the traffic pattern coming onto the beach and going off of the beach both. There has been some drama about the fact that there's no lighting on this bridge. They actually have a solar powered light up here. The lights themselves must have gotten damaged at Hurricane Ian. They're not fixed yet. So what a beautiful morning. It's very cold. It's 54 degrees, and 54 degrees is cold in Florida, at least southwestern Florida. We live in the subtropics, so 54 is cold. For me, it's terrible. I hate it. So at any rate, I came down here early just to get my exercise in before the Shrimp Festival. We're in the Shrimp Festival today. It's Remove It Pros Demolition. This channel, we are posting on this new channel, the Fort Myers Beach channel. We separated our demolition channel and our local coverage of Fort Myers Beach, mainly just because of the algorithm. It confuses the algorithm. We're trying to reach a global audience for Remove It Pros, and obviously the Fort Myers Beach is more of a local thing. So we love both of them. So we're just doing a little bit extra work and doing both. So it's going to take a little while for this to get traction, but it'll be worth it. We're calling it My Fort Myers Beach, and that's pretty much it. So we're coming up on, this is the roundabout here that they put in, and this roundabout is really not round at all. It's kind of a kidney shaped thing, kind of a angled kidney shaped gizmo, and so you see they're pretty far along. They should be done soon. Was talking to the mayor last Sunday about this, and he's a little concerned that it's not going to help the traffic because there's too many places for people to cross. Also, there's going to be another signal here, and I don't know. There's something's got to change, because I mean, some of these people that are working on the beach for us, I mean, they are literally they're in traffic for 2 hours before they get off the beach. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I met a friend of mine at Wahoo Willie's. I came down on my electric bike, and they just passed the new law that yes, you can have your electric bike on the sidewalk. They want you to go 10 miles per hour and to be courteous. And well, I do that anyway, but not everybody does. So as you can see, this little area right here, they held it back from Margaritaville. It was supposed to, or I heard rumors, people talking about it, this was going to become like a little park. And it was going to be part of Crescent Park, which is over there. And what happened to this property here is when Hurricane Charlie came in a long time ago, when the market was running like crazy back in the 2006, 2007, 2005 time frame, some developers tore down the building that was here and the buildings that were over there. And then what ended up happening is nobody paid the taxes on them, and the city ended up taking them back. So this property here was proposed or speculated to become a park, I'm talking about this one over here. And then that one, the city just kept it as a park. They call it Crescent Park. Back over here, this way, that's Times Square. Okay, there's the police department keeping us safe. And this is Margaritaville right here. So beautiful morning. There's not a lot of wind, so it doesn't make the cold so bad. So this roundabout, dude, there, to me, this looks like they're at final. They have everything graded out, everything ready. All they need to do now is just place the asphalt, do their finishing touches, put in their landscaping, and bada bing, bada boom, we got a new traffic pattern. The traffic pattern we have now, you would think it would be better, but it's not. They do have the police down here helping out, but what's happening is nobody's saying, hey guys, we want you to do it this way. So what they're doing is it's going the other way. It's making it worse. Because you got one guy and his ideas of how he wants to do it. You got the next guy and his ideas of how he wants to do it. And the next guy in the other corner on his ideas on how he wants to do it. And none of them are talking to each other. And none of them are trying to solve the problem. And the problem is you need to just let that traffic flow, man. Just wave them on, wave them on, wave them on, wave them on. So this is Margaritaville, really early in the morning. What a beautiful place. They've done so many nice things here. The Shrimp Festival, this is one of the shrimp crawl festivals for shrimp restaurants for the shrimp crawl. Everybody's getting ready for a big day here on Fort Myers Beach. It's kind of a fun thing. They actually had they have a bunch of different things going on here. They have a 5K. They have the Shrimp Festival itself. Geez, what's going on here? I wonder what's going on. I don't know, maybe they never brought enough dirt in or something. It looks like they're working in front of Margaritaville again. It's kind of interesting. I have to ask around about that. So way out there, you see way out there? Okay, the light. That is the dredging barge that's sucking up all the sand and bringing it up onto the beach. There is a pipe running underneath this all the way down through here. And that pipe is going all the way to the south end, and they're pumping the sand from all the way down here to all the way down there. So they're just getting to the Leonardo Arms area, which is the most vulnerable area. I hope they get it done before season is over, before they're allowed. They got to stop when turtle season comes in, is what I understand. So I heard they're going to let them run until April. They're running 24 hours a day, which if you live on the beach and you're near one of their booster stations, you're probably not overly thrilled with, because you're going to be hearing a diesel motor running all day long. So basically, I'm going to head back up the beach, back towards my my house. I live on the south end, and I mean, there's a lot of things going on the beach. There's a lot of drama going on with the developments coming in. You know, the neighborhood's not really gotten into harmony on what they want. Morning. So we've got a situation where certain amount of the population, we see the benefits of new development, and then there's the other part of the population that says we don't see the benefits of more traffic. So notice I said it we both times, and the reason I said that is because I'm torn on it. I mean, I'd like to see new beautiful things, but at the same time I don't want to see 3-hour traffic to get off the island. Which is just mind-blowing. So last night I met somebody at Wahoo Willie's, a friend of mine, and what ended up happening was I had dinner with her. Took about an hour, 20 minutes, right? And then we end up, she goes her way, I go, she lives over here, she's staying with somebody over here on San Carlos Island. So I headed back on my electric bike, and I see the Publix truck that I passed coming in, and it was like only a mile further in. So, morning. So basically, that truck, during the time I went and had dinner and came back, had only moved 1 mile. And that is just mind-blowing to me. The amount of cars that are trapped on the island at that time of the day it's unbelievable. I mean, it's always been like this, but I don't think it's been this bad. If you watch the Facebook posts, a lot of people have lived here for 40 and 50 years. They're like, look, I've never seen it this bad. So if you live on the south end, there's really not a lot of things you can do down on the south end as far as restaurants and that. You really only have Flippers, and you have Fresh Catch and Junkanoo. There are quite a few things being built. There's a new ice cream shop that just opened up. Looks like they serve sandwiches too. I have to check into that so I can tell you about it. And so if you want to eat and stay on the island, you got to come down here. Well, if you come on a golf cart, or you come on a car, or the public transportation, guess what? You're sitting for 2 hours, or an hour, or an hour and a half. I don't know, whatever it is. So my YouTube crew, they work out of my house. When they work out of my house, what happens is we start at 6 in the morning and we're over by 2, so they can get off the island in only a half hour to an hour. So think about that. It's not fun. Now during season, the traffic is horrendous in Florida, period. It's just our population swells by well over 50%. So the nice thing for those of us that live here year round is, guess what? We get this all to ourselves for about 6 months or 7 months or 5 months. It just depends on the year, which is absolutely wonderful. And honestly, I don't mind when everybody's here. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I don't care for the traffic. So what a nice, beautiful, calm day. This should be nice for this parade. So that noise you hear we're coming up to, that's one of these booster stations for the beach renourishment. And if you look over there, you see that black stuff right there? That's a pipe. It runs about 5 to 6 miles all the way down to the other end of the island. And these booster stations here, and there's somebody close by that's babysitting that thing. They're making sure it has fuel, making sure it stays cool, make sure the pumps that are pumping the water in to cool it stay flowing. And you can see the guy right there. So he's there all night long babysitting that thing and keeping these things running. There's a total of 4 of them. And then there is the pumps that are on the actual dredging rig, which is out 1.25 miles off of up there by the Times Square area. So you see all these shells here on the beach. The tide is really pretty strong. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He owns Island Waste out on Pine Island. We did a short, or not a short, but a live. A little foggy this morning, so please forgive me. We were talking, he's gonna bring dirt out for that private island that we did on our live yesterday. And he was talking to the owner, and he said, yeah, this time of the year, the tide swings are really, really low. So he said, if I'm out here working, bringing you dirt over to your island, he said what's going to happen is I'm going to get stuck over and over and over because of the tides. So they were talking about doing it in the summer next year where the tides are higher. So that was interesting. He looked like a cowboy. I mean, I guess more or less he is. He's a Florida cowboy in the sense that Pine Island is rural, very rural. And it does have farms and stuff like that over there. So, so you talk about something really neat. If you go to our main channel and watch the live, we literally left my house, took a boat, my boat went down to this guy's island and walked over and walked around and looked at what he was doing. So far what they've done is it took him a pretty long, took about a year and a half to get the permits in place. He had to go 30 feet under the water table, or the bottom of the water, and bore underneath the bay area to get his utilities. He's actually going to have, sewer, water, electric, and cable all out on that island, which is really cool. So they basically brought it down his street, across the street, down the front yards of the two properties he owns, took it underneath the bay, 30 feet underneath the bay, and brought it over onto the island. So he's been working on this since 2021. He's pretty stoked about it. It's kind of a very unique way to live. So he owns two houses on this side. He owns the island, which he got a good deal on it. He had a really cool set of circumstances that allowed him to be able to get that island, and must be pretty well off. He's I don't know, pretty neat guy. I got to talk to him a little bit yesterday. Last name's Beck. Really cool guy. So what we're doing for him is we're taking the second story off of this house that's they used to access the utilities to the island, and he's going to leave the pavement or the foundation of this house, and we're going to split tear the house down, but leave the garages. So we have to cut this house away from these garages, and so we're doing that, kind of a finesse thing. We're good at finesse. That's our signature as a demolition company. That in our repurposing stuff we do. So pretty cool stuff. So did I mention that I'm freezing? I've actually got like 3 layers on. I'm like, holy cow. So I feel like I'm in New England or something on the beach. Morning. So Shrimp Festival Day, so there's not as many people out here right now. They're probably getting ready for, getting their floats ready and all that kind of stuff. We're gonna run the drone on the festival. I'm gonna put it up on the site as well. We did we covered the Galloway murders. One of the historians here was telling about the Galloway murders that happened back in the 50s. And they're telling the story of what happened there. And I don't know what happened, but we ended up missing the very first part of it. So hopefully we'll get the rest of the story. But we put up what we had. Very interesting thing that happened in a very negative way. So that's on the site right now. I did a Milton update recently. Just drove down and kind of talked about what I've seen. So there's some drama going on right now with some of these buildings that look really bad. The one property is Terry Prasat's property down there, Times Square. They're not happy with the way that looks. That's kind of like the center of town, and it looks like a bomb went off. He also has another property, the old Junkanoo property, and the city's putting pressure on him. They basically got up to the very last second that they were going to tear it down, and he ended up going and getting a permit. And that permit, what that's going to do is allow him all the way till September to do it. Morning. So I'd either bought him more time or he's going to go ahead and tear it down. He apparently doesn't care about what people think. So, hey, it's his property. I guess he can do what he wants with it, right? So meanwhile, we have another development going on. A lot of people are in favor of this. The town's definitely in favor of it. It's basically a food truck park, and the local people that live right there don't want the noise. But it's good. And this house right here, this is the guy that's doing it. That's where he lives. So we actually tore some houses down for him after Ian. So, good morning. So here's another one of those pump booster stations. And you can see the pipe right here. You see the pipe? So that black pipe runs the whole length of this beach. And some places they buried it, like down by Lani Kai and by Margaritaville. This is all residential down here. I don't know why they buried some of it and didn't bury other parts of it. It doesn't make any sense to me, because there's parts of it they buried down here and there's like hardly anybody ever around there. So this is another one of these. There's a guy standing here babysitting this thing all day long to make sure that it continues to pump water. So you see these tracks right here. Those tracks mean that they had to get the excavator down here. Hold on just a second. The tracks mean the excavator had to come down here because something was clogged up and they had to dig it out. So you see the tracks right here? And those are fresh. That probably is from this morning or last night. They worked all night. And they're going all the way down, and way out there, that's Leonardo Arms. It's sticking out into the water. And over the course of the last 20 years, little by little, that the sand in front of Leonardo Arms got washed away. And also, and when Milton came in, it washed away a whole bunch more, and it got up into these other buildings that are about 100 feet behind that, or maybe 75 feet behind that Leonardo Arms building. So they actually had, their first floor was all undermined. So we actually did the demo on that. We pulled out the floors underneath that high rise. So right here you see they're burying little parts of the pipe, I guess making it easier for people to get over it, because a lot of people have mobility issues down here. I mean, a lot of people, they work their butts off their whole life so they can live in Florida, and then they get down here and, you know, they're old. They're old like me. So there's more and more of these houses getting finished up. That one right there is getting pretty far along. We're about, let's see, it was September 28th, 2022 is when Hurricane Ian came in. And Hurricane Ian rewrote Fort Myers Beach history. It changed pretty much everything. A lot of our history is gone. Certainly all the frame, or the majority of, there's not very many left of the frame buildings. They couldn't stand up to that, you know, the 10 to 14 foot of storm surge. So if you remember way back when with me talking about this, I said 10 to 20. I read the NOAA website, and it's supposed to be the official website, and they're saying that it was a 14-foot storm surge, so that would have been on average. One part of this island's a little bit different in elevation than the other part. So this over here, this is where the beach renourishment, that's one of the areas where they're marshaling their equipment. That tank that's up on that truck is to keep the fuel in all of these machines. The other tank there, it's on the ground, so a fuel truck will come in and fill that up. And then they're actually doing it right now. You can see it right now. Isn't that something? So you see the fuel truck over here, filling up the tank that's over here, and then they're putting it on that rig, and he goes all over the beach and fills up the excavators and the bulldozers and everything else. So you see the tracks. They must have had a problem down there, and they brought one of the excavators from down by Leonardo to help out. And then these tracks are fresh, so that it must have been last night. But those are excavator tracks. I could tell because of how wide they are. I'm gonna take that back. Those are just as wide, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is excavator tracks though. Pretty cool. This guy's got his camera out here, coming to see some Mother Nature maybe. There's still a significant amount of the condo buildings that are they're unoccupied. I see more and more lights on more of the buildings. I see more cars around them, little by little. That's our main business basically as a demolition company. Our main business is doing hands-on finesse kind of demo. I mean, we have 2 crews that run tearing down properties or tearing down buildings as well, but our primary focus, we do about 2,000 of them a year, where we come in and take out the kitchen, the baths, the flooring, the popcorn ceiling, the haul away all the junk that people don't want. We do that a lot. And we're the trusted guys that you can have come into your condominium building and not get everybody upset. We follow your rules and do what you want us to do it the way you want us to do it, and we clean all the way up before we leave. We're polite and courteous, have a good track record. If you look up our Google reviews, we're known for being conscientious and careful. And you'll see on our Google reviews, we've been working for the same people for years and years and years. So this complex here, this is a very unique situation. This one here, I don't know how they worked this out, or if they're ending up with some huge assessment on these buildings. But what's happening with those is they stripped those things all the way back down to the block and rebuilt them. So I don't know if they did the plumbing and all the electric or not. I would think they did if they went that far. Certainly brand new roof. Matter of fact, the roofing material on that, when Milton came through, got washed all the way down the street. It was laying in the parking lot. Beginning of this year, every 25 years, I should say, once you get to 25 years, you have to have the building inspected structurally. And what they're trying to avoid is what happened to Surfside on the other coast, which basically those buildings just straight collapsed. And apparently, they knew all about this. They knew all about these problems, and they were just pushing off the repairs. And I think there was 100 people that died in that. So that created some new legislature. So after the 25 years, now you have to have your buildings inspected on a regular basis. So what does that mean if you're an owner? What that means is if they find $100,000 worth of repairs, you have to do them. If they find $1 million worth of repairs, you have to do them. And what happens is that becomes assessments that everybody splits up, or if they don't want to do that, they go get a loan, and now your condo fees are going to be significantly higher. So because of that, collectively, when you buy a property, you look at all the expenses, so it's going to drive the prices of these condos down, or even make them really hard to sell. So depending on, depending on how your condominium complex decided to handle this, if you did it through assessments and you keep your condo fees low, well, your values are going to be significantly better. If you did it through a loan and you're paying that off, and you add in the new insurance costs that come into play after this Hurricane Ian hit, your condo fees are getting up there. You know, and how many people can afford $1,000 a month on top of their $400 or $500 or $1,000 a month for their condo, or whatever it is. I don't even know. I'm clueless on that. It's big numbers. So here's booster station number 3, and we've been on the beach for probably 3 miles or 4 miles now. And so the one pump that's out in the front, you see it? That's pumping water in to cool the engine, okay? The other thing, the red pump right there, that is the pump. And that machine that's running, that's a diesel motor, and that diesel motor is turning that pump. So between all of these pumps, they're able to pump this water, the sand inside of the water. So look at this, you see this right here? This water right here, okay? That is the water that's being pumped in by that thing. You see it right there? It's being pumped in by that. It's cooling the motor, and it's going back into the ocean. And that's allowing the motor to stay cool enough to stay running. So just getting away from the noise. Uh-oh, it's a killer attack dog. He wants to get me. I'm scared. I'm so scared. All right, so we're getting close to Leonardo Arms. The crews have been working overnight. They're trying to get this done. They're trying to get these buildings in a better situation for hurricane season this year. Once we get to, I think they said April, they're going to tell them they got to come back next year. And so this project was underway before Ian actually hit. So it's taken this long to get their permits in place and to get everything situated and to get us on their schedule. Now what's going to happen is they're going to go somewhere else, probably somewhere in the Caribbean, or somebody who's not as fanatical about their turtles as we are, and they'll work there and then they'll come back. And they got delayed over and over and over. You know, they got delayed by Debbie, they got delayed by Helene, they got delayed by Milton. Those are all this year. So each time there's a delay, well, there's a delay. They get pushed back some more. These guys, they sound like, when I talk to them, they sound like they're from New Orleans or someplace like that. It's like somebody slept out there on their sailboat overnight, or at least they kept their sailboat right offshore here. This water's not very deep. That's probably only 4 or 5 feet where they're at. This is low tide. The tides apparently in the wintertime are more severe than they are, or the low tides are more severe in the wintertime than they are in the summertime, according to that guy that's lived here forever on Pine Island, who has to deal with marine stuff all the time. They're marine guys. Well, the temperature's definitely getting better. When I started out this morning, it was 54 degrees. So if you notice these tracks, we followed these tracks for miles. So we're coming up in the area where the Wyndham is, and I guess I'll cut through there so you guys can see the status of that. So they're getting along. It's interesting to see the different ways. These guys are competitors for us, although I don't know, we don't really feel like they're, I guess, well, we do. They're competitors. I mean, we either get the job or they get the job. They're competitors that way. But it's interesting to see how Extreme does their job sites, and it's interesting to see a completely different way being done by Watco. So here's something. You see how they, I guess what they're doing is they're going down through here and they're burying some of this. People must be complaining that they got to climb over these pipes, or that broke and they had to fix it. One of the two. I'm not sure. Doesn't seem to be a good shelling day. Don't see a lot of shells out here. Morning. So getting back down to the south end. So we're within like 1.5 miles of the end of the island. Fort Myers Beach is 7 miles long, if you didn't know that. So there was an article about that building right, let's see, right there, that white building. So that guy bought that right before the hurricane hit, and he's been he's just not been sure what he's going to do with it. So it turns out that Stevens is a commercial contractor. They're going to renovate that building for him, and I don't know if he's going to sell it or keep it as a condo, like a hotel. But it's nice to see that get underway. We cleaned, when they stripped that building out and threw it all out the windows, and we came in and helped them clean up the mess outside. We ran all the debris to the curb for them so that FEMA could haul it away. So several of these buildings are still dealing with structural issues. You could see it by the scaffolding and the way that they've got their doors blocked off with plywood to make sure nobody walks out the door and walks right off the edge, because there's no handrails. They took the handrails off because they're fixing the structure. So way down there, you see the beach renourishment guys. Right over here to the left, that's the Wyndham. And I'd say they're probably, let's say they're 1/3 of the way done with it. It's a big structure, and when we looked at it and we put our bid in on it, we looked at it and we understood the difficulty of tearing that one down, because it looks like it's very well constructed. A lot of concrete, a lot of thick concrete. So if you've been on other beach rides with me, you would have noticed that there's a lot more people out here other days. And I think it's because of the Shrimp Fest, or it's because it's so cold, one of the two. Morning. So I'm curious to see if they actually got Leonardo arms, if they're underway on that or not. But I'm also more interested in showing you the Wyndham. So I'm gonna walk out through here. So I can't pedal on this stuff, it's too soft. So if you're wondering about the bikes that I run around on, if you're curious about that at all, these are 3G bikes. They originated in Venice, California. And what's unique about these bikes is it's called a pedal forward design. And what it does is the pedal crank is about 6 inches in front of the tube that holds your seat. And they're designed so you can sit up and not have to bend over on them like you would like on a road bike. So you might say, well, why would you want to do that? Well, the reason you want to do that is because you can sit up comfortably and ride your bike. Me, I have a neck issue, and holding my neck up on a road bike, it's just not comfortable for me. The other thing with these bikes is this one's all aluminum. It has disc brakes on it, which I don't think it really matters, but it's a 7-speed, which you don't really need 21 speeds to go down the beach. And stainless steel chain, stainless steel gears and stuff like that. And the reason they do that is just so it's more resistant to the rust. Still gets rusty. The chains on these, because I ride them so much and I'm such a big guy, I stretch them out and I ruin the gears on them. So this bike is about 1.5 years old, and it's already had a new set of gears put on the back of it and a new chain. If you're watching these videos a while ago, my chain kept coming off, and that's because I stretched it out. So Mike over there in Bonita, Ingles Bike Shop, he takes care of me really good on that. So I'll bring him the bike. I also bought a new one because I just straight wear them out. I do like 12 miles on them every time, and we're in this harsh environment. You got the salt water, you got the sand, and you got my bigness. So the other thing about these bikes, if you've seen the bike, it's got really big fat tires on it, and that makes it a lot easier to ride on the sand. And I don't know, pretty cool stuff. I like it. Been using the same one. When I was broke as a joke, I was buying them used here on the beach, and then when I started making a little more money, I bought them new. And I've been through, I guess, 5 or 6 of them. So I use them up all the way. When the tires get done and the aluminum starts getting pitted and that, I just sell them. They're about $1,100 if you buy them new. I put a little phone holder on it. I can't play it while we're doing these videos, but I have a little sound thing. It's called a Mega Boom 3 that I use to listen to music. And I put that in a cup holder. So this guy's got his dog with him at work, which is super cool. It is Saturday, so hopefully he's not going to yell at me for being on their property. Pretty bumpy. Hey, what's up, little buddy? You get to go with Dad today? Hey, good morning. So that's to bring heavy equipment. If you don't want to have a yard, and you're a demo company, you could actually do that. You just keep your equipment on the jobs you're working on, save you some money. So here's the Wyndham. This is what they got done so far. So, hey, I'd say they're at 50%. So there were 3 of them big gigantic buildings, as you see here and here. There's 3 of them in a row, and then they're still got the pool to do, and then they got a lot of debris on the ground still. So they got quite a bit going on. Some interesting tidbits, that asphalt there, those are called millings. This right here, this pile right here, that's about, that's probably $1,000 to $2,000 worth of millings. So what people do with that is they mulch it up, use it for the base in the rural parts of Florida for the roads before they come in and do pavement on them. So now this right here, over here, they're putting in parking, covered parking. So we're over here by the, this is Santini Plaza, and we're heading up. I'm going to go back and look and see how far they are with the beach renourishment down on this end. See if they are working in front of Leonardo yet. We're all anxious to see that. We would love to see we'd love to see it to where we can ride our bikes the whole beach, on the beach. Right now, I'm off the beach. Well, partly because I looked at the Wyndham, but partly because the beach renourishment guys are down there and they block off part of the beach and you can't go through that area. So it'll be nice when they're done, get our whole beach back. A lot of guys like myself, we use the entire beach as our exercise, to exercise. Some guys running, some guys on bikes, you know, some people walk it. So a lot of healthy people down here, a lot of people out on the street walking and riding their bikes and stuff. It's part of the reason you move down here, so you don't get trapped inside during the winters. So in the comments, if you could leave where you're from and what you'd like to see on this channel, I would be very interested in that. Good morning. So, all right, we're going to duck back here. Now these guys got back on, they got back on pretty daggone quick. They were open very quickly. So they got the 6-foot berm almost the whole beach, all the way down the whole beach. And that 6 feet berm at that elevation, it's been determined that that's the best elevation to have as a minimum all the way down the beach. And what that does is it helps keep the ocean away from the buildings and keeps it from eroding the streets and the structures. So let's go talk about the beach renourishment, and you'll see what I've been talking about all this time as far as those pumps. Okay, those pumps are all working and sending the water down here. You see it? So that thing right in front of us, right there, okay, pumping, that's where all the water's coming to. And what they got right there, that's a sediment pool. So the water flows out of there, goes right back into the ocean, and the sand gets deposited right here. So they're still there, it's just not going as fast as we like to see. So what we're looking for is we're looking for them to get this done. Okay, you see where that, so the tide's way down, but it's still up against that seawall. So if I want to walk around, I want to walk the whole beach, I have to go in the water there, or I have to walk through their property. Well, they don't want us walking through their property. We don't want to walk through their property either. But that's just the way it is. So now these are all, this complex is a bunch of little efficiencies. They're like hotel rooms, but they got a kitchen in them. Kitchen, you know, it's basically, it's an efficiency apartment. So that'd be really cool when they get this Leonardo Arms done. I'm terribly impatient. Like this morning, well, this morning I wasn't going to do it because it was dark, but I rode all the way down the street to get down to the bridge. I just wanted to go talk about the roundabout. So so what's the conclusion? Okay, what's the conclusion from my bike ride today, this Saturday? I'm going to do these mostly on Saturdays when we're in town. So what's the conclusion? Well, we're getting there. Little by little, we're getting there. Little baby steps every day. A little bit more every day. A little bit more help from the community every day. Today we're doing something fun as a community. The Shrimp Fest is fun. It's going to be the whole weekend. So at any rate, this is the south end, and you can see it's pretty clean. If you look at our infrastructure, that's not this end of the island. This infrastructure is not 4 years old or 5 years old. It's pretty beat up from all the heavy equipment on these hurricanes. These machines hitting the curbs and stuff and taking them out. The storm surge and all the debris floating around in it, taking out our safety rails and stuff like that, like right here. None of that stuff's back. You know, the priorities are the major stuff, like this right here should have a rail all the way down it and got knocked out by the hurricane. As you can see, the grass is not back and being maintained yet. That complex back there, they are living in it. It's not, it doesn't look like it's anywhere near being completed. This one right here to the right, this Mariners, look at that. There's just not much work being done. And these hungry contractors, they're working on Saturdays. So, you know, different complexes are dealing with different things. Some of them are waiting for elevators. Some of them are waiting for roofs. Some of them are waiting to get the money together. Some of them are waiting for insurance money still. A lot of them are waiting on everybody getting together and getting their assessment money together so they can finish up. So it's kind of a raw deal. Kind of a raw deal for everybody on this Hurricane Ian thing. So this is another one they've been working on it every day, but it's not occupied yet. All right, so this is Dave Lockwood with Remove It Pros Demolition. This is my Fort Myers Beach channel, and we're going to be putting all our Fort Myers Beach information, drone footage, so on and so forth. We'll put the Shrimp Festival on this site, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna sign off here and put a hoof on it because I'm in the parade and I got to get my butt down there so that so I actually able to have my truck in the parade. So hey, I'll see you on the next video, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.